Meanwhile, we are confident enough to say that the second day of the fourth quarter of trading on the year has ensued, and it is continuing the blistering pace of the first one. And normally that portends a good quarter, not all the time, but most of the time, 95% of the time, in fact. And we're watching it very, very closely as trade-related companies or companies that could benefit from improved trade with Canada and what it could mean for other countries and, yeah, China. They're all benefiting. You know, the usual culprits, they would be the Caterpillars, they would be the Boeings, and they would be those even on the healthcare side that would benefit from having more freedom to move around in Canada, in the Canadian market, U.S. drug makers that would have the ability to keep their patents longer in Canada, 7 years now, but it could go to 10 years. So they're benefiting from all of this. We're keeping a close eye on that. But again, the long and short of this is that if the markets were worried about the fate of the judge, they seem to have a funny way of showing it. Now, they seem to think he is going to get in there. So if it looks like he might not, could all this start unraveling? Let's ask New York Republican Congressman Lee Zeldin. Congressman, how much is this judge issue an issue back home when you see your constituents?
In my district, all across the country, people are tuned in. Last week, I was in D.C. all week, and I was wondering, outside of the Capitol, outside of the Beltway, how much of this like the average American paying attention to? And I went back home on Friday and I spent the weekend at events all over my district. People are fired up. And what's interesting, we had a whole lot of people who are independent-minded women with sons very upset with the way that this whole thing was handled as well. So the Democrats they've been fired up since November of 2016 and January of 2017. Right. That hasn't really rescinded. But the Republican base is really upset with the way Judge Kavanaugh is being treated as well. So you're seeing a more partisan electorate as the days get closer to the election, and also a more enthusiastic electorate on both sides.
All right. I watch independent voters very closely to see how they're polling. Not that polling is accurate. It missed, as you said, the 2016 phenomenon. They've gone from positive on the judge and wanting to see justice to now negative. And I'm wondering if that means anything. I mean, the judge's negatives have gone up. Still relatively close, but what do you make of all that?
Well, I really can only speak from putting my finger on the pulse inside my own district, and I can't speak for the 434. I'm on the east end of Long Island, okay. The 1st Congressional District of New York, I believe the greatest congressional district in America. We have a diverse electorate. I mean, we have Republicans, we have Democrats, we have conservatives and liberals, and everyone was paying attention to the events over the course of the last week. In my district, I'm finding that independent-minded people are sympathetic to the way they were berating Judge Kavanaugh and also the delaying tactics on the part of the Senate Democrats. A lot of this could have been vetted a long time ago. And it's, you know, when you're asking, I heard multiple times people asking about the yearbook questions and really upset about how, you know, here you have a Senate responsible for confirming a judge for a lifetime appointment to the United States Supreme Court, and you have that opportunity for the hearing for this very important purpose, and that's what you're spending your line of questioning on. So people were paying attention to every question that was asked all day long. I was impressed by just how much of the American people were paying attention to it.
You know, the president has been saying the backdrop for this, and he's been consistent in his support, standing by the judge. He's going to get through. He deserves to get through. But with every announcement, it's preceded by talk about the economy. Yesterday, the deal with Canada, get them included in this three-way deal with Mexico and ourselves. And he tweeted out a little earlier today that if you want to stop all this, just elect a Democrat and we'll stop winning. I'm paraphrasing here, but what did you make of his approach? He's relentless reminding folks about that.
And it's true. I mean, we need to visualize what type of a country do we want in January of 2019. The election's 5 weeks from today, and regardless of whatever you visualize for the country you want in January 2019, you better spend the next 5 weeks fighting for it. And if you don't, you may end up with a very different looking country.
So how would it go in that sense for you, Congressman, in, let's say you keep your seat, but Republicans don't keep their majority? How would it change your day-to-day roles, the committees you're on, and how you go about doing things?
I'm on the House Financial Services Committee. Maxine Waters becomes chairwoman. And you give her a gavel in her hand. Her pledge is to take down this president. Her priority. I want to see the House Financial Services Committee focus on veterans housing, on being able to allow someone to be able to afford a home, a car, or a small business to have capital to be able to start their business. That's the job that we should be focused on. And there's an oversight role as well. But for Maxine Waters, it's all about impeachment. This is a committee that has Al Green on it and some of these other members who also have taken these most extreme steps. They want to pledge. They've pledged to oppose, resist, obstruct, impeach everything and anything.
Yeah, at least 3 of them said 3 days into the presidency of Donald Trump, impeach him. They didn't wait very long. Is it your sense that the economy decides this, or the anger on the left, maybe residual from the 2016 campaign, decides it?
A combination of many different factors. For some people who would say that the economy is the most important issue to them, the economy is actually going so well that they're identifying other issues as their top issue. So some people are talking about the economy as their top issue, and others know.
How do you tell Republicans you got to get out there then? They're what's that expression? They're fat and happy. Right?
Results or resistance. I mean, you look at over the course of the last year and a half, the economy is ripping. You now have more available jobs than people to fill them. We're seeing, even in my home county, unemployment is at a 17-year low. Wage growth is now starting to pop. Our markets are hitting historic highs. 401ks are hitting historic highs. Consumer confidence. And you're seeing the jobless claims at 50-year lows. So all of those different economic metrics and more, we have the fastest economic growth that we've seen in 4 years, and that's continuing to go up. But we also have, on the national security front, we're doing a better job securing our borders. ISIS, people aren't talking about ISIS anymore. They're nearly wiped off the map in Iraq and Syria. We're defeating MS-13 where I'm from. People are being held accountable for doing some really bad things to innocent people and trying to destabilize communities. And when you combat MS-13, you're also going after drug trafficking, human trafficking, sex trafficking. There's a huge plummeting in the amount of human trafficking that's going on. There's important initiatives to combat the heroin and opioid abuse epidemic. So when you look at the last year and a half on issues that are most important to you, you'll see progress from one issue to the next. And you also have to understand what the consequences on the flip side with Maxine Waters as chairwoman, with Adam Schiff as the chair of Intel, with Nancy Pelosi as the new Speaker of the House. We can't go backwards. And I think voters are catching on to that.
All right. We shall see. With 5 weeks to go. Can't believe that. You're going to be a busy guy. Congressman, thank you very, very much.